Hello. It is Saturday, January 25th, 2025. And it is approximately 7:20-ish a.m. In the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And I woke up at 5:40 in the morning, upset and triggered because of a bad dream, because of a prior former employer that used to harass me and bully me and publicly humiliate me and just flat out humiliate me because he had the power to do so. And I just went off on this rant and rave for the last 2 hours because by myself, talking to myself by myself, because I'm so tired of it. And the negativity that I have experienced I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who's experiencing this stuff. And it's awful. It's awful for people to use your loving, kind heart against you in whatever way, fashion, or form that other people think it's necessary. Now, this is going to sound outlandish because everybody that I tell is like, oh yeah, that sounds outlandish and you totally sound paranoid. And it breaks my heart because I'm not lying and I'm going to tell the truth, okay? This is my story. This is my truth. I'm trying to heal through all this fuckery, and it's almost impossible when I have bad dream. I just start to feel good. I just start to bounce back and find some sunshine in my life, not physical, but sunshine in my life. And I have a dream like this. So, where to begin? The broad spectrum is, there's been a lot of people who have used my disability against me. Okay. So I am on the autism spectrum. And typically when I tell people, and I just started coming open about it. Okay. Typically when I tell people that, it is to give them a better understanding of why I do things the way I do and why I respond the way I do. No. In the work field, in the workplace, people don't give a shit. Okay. They do not give a shit. They should. There should be some compassion and some understanding, and there should be some try to work around the disability. No, they don't fucking care. All they care about is that me, made them look bad because their work ethic sucks and yours is very strong, and their moral compass is shitty and yours is very strong, and they're hell-bent on making you feel this big because this is how they feel. And that is what I've experienced in the workplace for most of my life. And it is horrible. Now, I had a dream about one of my prior employers who is or was, when I left, in an assistant managerial role at a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, this is not the company's fault that there's fuckery in their company, okay? It has nothing to do with the company. It has to do with this man seems to think that he can treat anybody as bad as he wants to treat them because he feels inferior, because he doesn't have a work ethic, and because he refuses to use his moral compass in the correct, righteous way. Refuses as an adult, okay? In his 60s, still refuses to do it. And he's going to make you feel this big, regardless of who's around. Co-workers, other managers, customers. He does not fucking care. You're going to pay for it. I believe how it started is he wanted to go out with me from the get-go. He asked me out. I said no. The actual store manager several times. I think you would really go, you'd have a really good time if you went out with blah, blah, blah. They'll deny it. They'll deny it till they die. Doesn't matter. This is my story. This is my truth. And they made us watch a harassment and sexual harassment video. And I was like, same scenarios in the video. And I'm sitting there sobbing in the office because I'm like, oh my God, I'm experiencing this. All I have to do is say no. And I documented a lot of it. Some of that documentation has disappeared. I don't know. Maybe I misplaced it. I don't really know. I don't really care. But I finally looked at the store manager the last time he said it, the week after that harassment video. Okay. I looked at him and I said, his name. I said, no, I want this to stop. I don't want you to insinuate that this person and I need to go out. I am not attracted to him. I am not interested in him in any way, shape, or form, and it needs to stop. And he's like, yeah, but I'm like, no. You and I just watched the same videos. You made me watch it. You were supposed to watch it. Maybe you didn't comprehend what you were watching, but this right here is exactly what's on those videos. And my answer is no, and I'm asking you to stop. And he looked a little scared because I'm like, I shouldn't have to tell you about your own video that you made me watch. I shouldn't have to. You should just stop. Well, this lovely assistant manager and just continue to constantly in front of customers, in front of coworkers, laugh in my face, get a big group of people, oh, she doesn't get it, and laugh in my face, make me get on my hands and knees and scrub floors when we have mops. Nobody gets on their hands and knees and scrub floors. Nobody. Well, if you don't do it, I'm going to write you up, and I'm just going to tell people that you're being insubordinate, and I can get away with that because I have a ton of manager experience before I even get here, and they're not going to believe you. They're going to believe me. Well, I need the money, so I have no fucking choice but to get on my hands and knees and scrub this fucking floor while you stand in a circle with all your cohorts and laugh because you think it's funny that you degraded me, because you feel like a worthless piece of shit because I won't go out with you. Shocker that I won't go out with you. Shocker. So I'm triggered really bad, and I go off into this rant and rave, okay? And when I do, and I live alone, I'm going to put this out there. This is going to sound crazy, but I live alone. And I do these rants and raves because I just need to get this shit off my chest, and I don't record it. I should start recording it, right? And then pretty soon I hear an echo of my rant and rave of my own voice somewhere in the vicinity. And mark my words, at some point within the next week or so, a lot of my rant and rave is going to be repeated back to me by somebody who thinks they're educating me and using my own words that I've spoken in my rant and rave against me, because it's been happening since I moved into this house. And it sounds absolutely crazy and absolutely ludicrous, and I'm actually quite frankly starting to feel crazy, even though I know I'm not. I know I'm not, but this has been going on for a long time. A long time. If I have a phone conversation with my mom in this house or in my vehicle, the words get repeated back to me. Every time, verbatim, they get repeated back to me. And I know damn well I didn't tell anybody except for my mom. So either my mom's running back to people and running her mouth, or there's something going on that I'm not aware of, but everybody around me seems to know what's going on. Every employer, my most recent position at a smaller business, not mom and pop type, just a smaller business than the big one that I was at. Same shit. Then they started using the same verbiage from these managers against me. The exact same verbiage, as if I'm not going to get it. She's not going to understand. And then I see her my employer go to lunch with my previous boss, and they think because my previous boss seems to think that I can't see through his tinted windows, and I can. I saw him. I saw them leave together, and she came back and she's like, "Oh, I just had this really great lunch date with, well, just with someone." Well, okay, I saw you leave with a guy, and I saw you leave with my previous employer. I'm not going to tell you that, because if you think you're pulling the wool over my eyes, go right ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you think that. That's fine. But anything that I said over the last 2 hours, I guarantee you somebody's going to repeat it back to me, because this is what happens. I get to hear this echo wherever it's at, and then somebody repeats it back to me verbatim, stuff that I said, as if it's their idea. This has been going on since I moved into this house, and I cannot take it anymore. I am made to think that I am absolutely crazy. I don't make sense. I'm paranoid, which I'm none of those things. And I might display bouts of paranoia on occasion. And that's fine, but it doesn't mean I'm paranoid as a whole, okay? I can't do it anymore. And I think the next time I wake up and I have a 2-hour rant, I'm going to record myself, so that when I hear the echo, I'm going to post it as soon as I can, so that when I hear the echo and then it comes out, you're going to know where it came from originally, that it originally came from me. Now, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not the all knowledgeable or anything like that. I'm not, I'm just like you. I get triggered just like you, just like everybody. I get hurt. I get my feelings hurt. I get, I'm not a wonderful person. Okay. I struggle. I'm not always nice. But I got into an argument with my mom last night, and, she said something like, well, I was like, every time I go to a family get together, I'm either ignored, people walk away from me while I'm talking, they just treat me like I don't even exist, or if I go to ask for a hug, they roll their eyes at me as if, oh, I can't believe you're asking for a hug. That's exactly how they treat me, and I'm supposed to not notice that, okay? And she says, as pissed, because these are my words, okay? And they've been used against me at the previous 2 employers. They're my words that I told her 2 years ago, but whatever. She says, well, sometimes people have a bad day. And I said, really? Every single time I'm in their presence? Every time I'm in their presence, they're having a bad day. Well, if that's the case, then I really don't want to go to family get-togethers anymore, because if my presence is irking you so badly, I'd rather you have a bad day without me there. That's how much I care. I would rather you have a good day without me there than me irritating you and just paint it off as I'm having a bad day every time I see you. Haven't seen you in 6 months. Haven't talked to you in a year. Whatever. I'm not saying that both. Whatever. And you're going to be grouchy as fuck to me and treat me like shit, or ignore me, or walk away from me while I'm talking to you, which all of those things every single previous employer has done. They get up and walk away while I'm talking. The coworkers do it. And I don't know what the fuck kind of fuckery has been going on. I really don't. But the coworkers have done it, and then they run and tell whatever it is they tell to the management. In the most recent place, it was doctors. The doctors of the business were the managers. And they believe them. And the common response that I got was, well, I know that there are 2 sides to every story, but I don't have time to hear yours. Well, then there aren't 2 sides to every story, is there? There's only one side. And you're choosing to believe the one side because the 2 people previous said the same thing, so I have no choice to believe them. No. You have no choice but to not see your own fucking issues and put everything on me, because you don't want to be a better person and you don't want to heal. And the sick thing about this is these people have kids. I don't have kids, but if you're doing this to me, another adult, what the fuck are you doing to your kids? I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring that up and bring that into this, and I'm being warned not to, but what? You're doing fuckery like this in the workplace, and you have kids? Is this what you're teaching your kids? It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And maybe I'm jumping too far ahead, and maybe I'm making a judgment, but if you have the audacity to treat another adult horribly, who has a say, sort of, except for when you throw your title and be like, well, if you don't like it, you can walk on. Well, no, that's immoral and unethical, and you don't cut my paycheck, so you can't fucking treat me that way. But if you're treating another adult that way, how are you treating your kids? There's the bigger picture. Wouldn't occur to you, right? Are you using your title as mom to treat your kids bad? Because that's what makes me wonder. That's what goes in the back of my head, and I'm thinking, okay, well, if they have kids, little younger ones, okay, under 16, under 18, some of them under 15, okay, under 10, whatever. Okay, fine. So I think to myself, I will sacrifice myself in the workplace. If you want to take out all your crap on me to go home and be a loving parent to your kid, okay, fine. I'll take that burden. I'll take that weight. I don't like it, but I have a reason to believe that you are that kind of person, whether it's to an adult or a child, because I've witnessed it in my own life. And it's shaking me right now. I'm shaking because children are innocent. They're naturally born with a purity and an innocence, and it gets taken away by adults, and it doesn't have to be, I don't even want to say it, but it doesn't have to be sexual abuse or things like that, or physical abuse. It can be verbal abuse. It can be psychological abuse, warfare in the family home, which is much harder to heal from than physical abuse. Although the physical abuse is also psychological warfare. Because if you use people's love against them to hurt them, which is what has been happening to me in the workplace for a long, long time, that is psychological warfare. You're using my big heart, my tender heart, against me, my own words against me, as if they're your idea, they're your words, they're your words. They're not your words of wisdom, because you're the one that's causing the wisdom to come out of me. You're being so nasty, evil, and diabolical to me because you have a title that I am forced to try to heal that. And so this wisdom through a higher realm comes out through me, comes out of my mouth because of the hell that you've put me through, just for you to repeat it back to me. Makes zero sense. 0 cents. Now, I once had a famous YouTuber come in my presence at a previous employer, the one that I was talking about from the get-go. And he said on his videos for a long time, there's one person that I want to hear from, because he asked me, he's like, are you experiencing like bullying? Well, my person who I just started this video with is standing right next to me. And I know from experience that if I admit that yes, I am, well, he's the one person who's bullying and harassing the fuck out of me the worst, because I won't go out with him and I need the money. is going to make me pay for it, because he's done it over and over and over again. And I can't tell this guy. I didn't know he was a famous YouTuber until after the fact. I watch him now, and he's great. And he said in a lot of videos, there's one person I want to hear from. You know who you are. You know who you are. I need to hear your story. I need to hear you. But my story is so long. He would be reading for weeks. Weeks he would be reading. And he said it every day for a long time. And somebody decided that they were going to be that one. Okay. And that's how people are. This person won't write in, so I'll be the one. And so they did. And it was nothing. And I know darn well he didn't fall for that. Because he could see the hurt in my eyes. And he could see the pain in my eyes. He could see there's a lot of people in that workplace that were customers that were angels in my life. Because they could see the fuckery that I was having to experience. Not knowing how bad it was. Not knowing how bad it was. Just reading my demeanor or the bloodshot red puffy eyes because I spent my entire break crying, or my entire lunch break crying. I couldn't even eat because I was so devastated at how badly I was being treated. And anytime I try to talk to my family about it, oh, you're so tender-hearted. Duh. This is not new. I've always been tender-hearted, but this is extreme, nasty treatment. Extreme. How can you not? You're my mom, you're my family, and you have no compassion for this? And I'll tell you why there's no compassion. Unfortunately. Because they do it too. They do it too. They've been treating me the same way. There's been psychological warfare with my family towards me, against me for a long time. And the common response is, I would never. And I got into a little bit of a hiccup with my mom yesterday. Instantly. I would never. And I was like, and so I gave her a couple examples. I need examples. So I give her a couple of examples. And one is a very recent Christmas time example. And the other one is like 6 months to a year ago example. She doesn't remember the 6 months to a year ago one, she claims, right? So I must be making it up. If I don't remember it, then you're fabricating something in your mind, is what she says a lot. And I'm like, which infuriates me even more. And she knows that, and she feeds off of it. Maybe not intentionally, maybe not knowingly, but it makes her feel mightier. And this is a common scenario in my life. People feel mighty when they can beat you down, when they can make you feel less than. And it is sick, and it needs to stop. So the only way that it's going to stop is if we find the love within ourselves, some way, somehow. I will do my best to teach you, but this morning I am triggered by having a bad dream about this one dude that used to torment me because I wouldn't go out with him on a date. So glad I didn't go out with him on a date. God only knows if you're going to do that to me in the workplace, what you would do behind closed doors. God only knows. Gross. Fucking gross. So because I continue to, every time I have literally these rants and raves, there's an echo around me. And I don't know if it's like a spiritual echo or like this is kind of all new for me. But based on my personal experiences of things being repeated back to me when I think I'm in my privacy of my own home, which is a rental, or in my car, which somebody else picked out for me, right? Family. And there's always an echo every time I talk. And then the shit gets repeated back to me every time. But I'm painted to be the crazy one, okay? This is the painting. This is the narrative that's being said. This is not my narrative. I wake up every day and I pray for a completely different narrative. And this is what shows up in my reality every time. Every time it shows up into my reality. And it's not me. I'm just having rants and raves because I'm triggered from a bad dream, from bad experiences, personally experienced. And then it reappears back in my reality, and somebody says my words back to me as if they're their own. Employers, coworkers, family. It's gross, and I'm tired of it. So I wish I had hit the record button for the first 2 hours. 5:40 a.m. is when I woke up. 5:40 a.m. Still in my pajamas. And I can't do it anymore. I'm sick of it. So if anybody has any other suggestions of what's been going on, or even some truth to the matter of the stuff that I've been experiencing, maybe you know my face. Maybe you know my name. Maybe because I've worked in the public a lot. Or you heard stuff through the grapevine. And the problem is I've been quiet for so long. Bullied and harassed into silence. Isolation. Hermit mode. I'm still a hermit. It's hard for me to go out in public. I have a problem with loud noises. I have a problem with large groups of people. There's too much commotion, and I absorb everything. Everything. I absorb everything. And sometimes it takes a long time for me to shed that absorption. And it's not just, emotional or psychological. A lot of it's spiritual, unfortunately. You'd be surprised when you are empathically picking up on energies, how much it sticks with you and how hard it is to cleanse it off. Obviously. I had one bad dream from multiple bad experiences off of one bad person who ripple affected. There was a ripple effect because there was constantly every time I walked into the door. I'm like, oh, here we go again. I just can't have a good day. Somebody's got to constantly, all in a corner, everybody in a corner, looking at me like, are we in grade school? I know you're talking about me. I'm not stupid. You're all sitting there talking, and there's, a couple of you looking over at me, and you're not having a good time. Other than, you didn't include me in on it. I'm jumping all over the place, but like I said, I'm triggered. And when you're upset and you're triggered and you have no one to talk to, your mind is going to be all over the place. And it is. And I take accountability for that. And I own up to it because I don't have a problem with realizing what's going on here. I woke up triggered, angry, mad. I ranted and raved about it in the privacy of my home, which is not private. And then I got to hear an echo somewhere around me in the near vicinity. And I'm like, you know what? This is not going to be repeated back to me. So I'm going to continue to speak my truth. And I'm going to continue sharing my story. And I'm going to occasionally channel information. But until then, I'm still going to be speaking my truth. This is my story. I'm telling the truth. I'm done with harassment, belittlement, demeaning, horrible treatment in the workplace. I don't even want to go back to the workplace because I haven't found anybody with a moral compass who wants to use it correctly. Or professionalism, an ounce of professionalism, courteous, respect, compassion. You know, my previous job, I got stories for you. I could go on for hours. I'm not going to. I'm going to cut it off here pretty quickly. My previous job, I went into work because the fuckery that I was experiencing from coworkers, and I got lots of examples. Lots. Lots of examples. The fuckery that I was experiencing from coworkers that the big bosses weren't getting. They were getting whatever narrative they wanted to share, and that's the common narrative that's going around, so it must be true because everybody's saying it, right? Yeah, you should always believe in gossip. Never listen to gossip. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Take what's said in one ear, let it go out the other, talk to the person, get to know them for yourself, and be like, you're fucking insecure as fuck. And that's why you don't like that person. Because they're comfortable in their own skin and you're not. Which is too bad because you're really pretty to look at, but your inside's ugly as fuck. Too bad. It's a waste. Anyway, I went into work crying because of all the absorption of the negativity I was receiving by coworkers. And they are all playing the same game. And I'm telling you, it is a game. It is a mind fuckery game. And crying because I didn't sleep the night before. I hadn't been able to eat. I'm like, here we go again. I was so excited to get a brand new job and start fresh all over again, just to fall into the same fuckery trap. And them using the same words that the person before them, the business before them, management before them was using to see you go out to lunch with my prior employer. Like, it just sounds ludicrous. It sounds crazy. If I start to feel crazy. Anyway, what she said was, there, you can't. This is her response to my crying in the workplace. You can't cry. If you're just going to cry, that's unprofessional. If you're just going to cry, you have to go home. What I would have said was, oh my God, are you okay? What happened? What's got you so upset? None of that. Not one time. I'd never gone to work crying, and I had been there for 7 months. Somebody doesn't want me to talk about this because I all of a sudden choked up. That's not me. Not one word of compassion or kindness came out of this woman's mouth. Not one. I'm the regional manager. Of course you are. You're diabolical as fuck. You see one of your employees crying, coming into work crying for a legitimate reason. I had to put my dog down and I was devastated about it. You don't ask me. You just rip me a new one and tell me I need to go home because there's no crying in the workplace. How horrible is that? It's mean. It's mean. You're so high and mighty on your big regional manager role. One of the doctors of the building. I come in crying for a legitimate reason. You don't ask why. I'm not going to tell you if you're going to treat me that way. You don't deserve to know. I'll just carry that burden by myself. And I somehow force myself to stop crying, but everybody and all the patients know that I've been crying. Are you okay? This too will pass. You know, they're very compassionate. The kind of compassion you're supposed to receive from your employer from the get-go. Why you doesn't even occur to you to ask me why I'm crying or have an ounce of compassion for somebody else who works 40 plus hours a week, always on time, takes care of all your business, defends your honor, even when I know you're a fucker and you don't deserve it. I still defend your honor because I realize I'm representing a company. And I know it's important that your patients stay, right, for you to have your business. You can't give me an ounce, not a fucking ounce of compassion to ask me why I might be crying. Dedicated. Working hard. Not sitting around wasting time. It's just one example. One. Same person has the audacity to tell me that my personality irks people. I have so many bones to pick, I don't even know where to start with that one. First of all, my personality can't irk people. You have unhealed wounds that my personality triggers. But heaven forbid you fucking look in the mirror and deal with that shit. Or heaven forbid you be like, oh my God, I'm so triggered by what you just did or what you just said, and I don't really know why. Can you help me with that? I would love to. Thank you so much for asking, but you don't want to heal. I can't help people who don't want to heal. I would love to share my knowledge of how to help you heal. Well, I would love to. Because I had to do it all by myself without any help. I had to figure it out all by myself. And it was hard. And it's been a long, hard road to do it. And I'm clearly still not healed because I'm sitting here having a rant and rave over one bad dream. Or to tell me, this is how I knew she was gossiping. You know when people talk about you. You know it without a shadow of a doubt. And they'll paint all kinds of, you're making stuff up. No. No, you're not. You know when people are gossiping about you. It's innately in you. You know when people are not being true, okay? And I knew there was gossip. I could tell. I don't know how, I just could, okay? And I always can. And she slipped one day because she was high and mighty on her rant and rave and repeating back words to me that I said in the privacy of my own home as if it's her idea once again, and blah, 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 going on and on and on. She doesn't want to let anybody talk because her ego is so fucking inflated she can't hear what you're saying. And if you try to talk over her, even though I have 13 years experience over her, I'm talking age. Okay, she's a doctor. I have a master's. She has way more educational knowledge than me, but I have more life experience than her. Okay, is what I'm talking about. You interrupt her or try to interject in the conversation, she's pissed and she's going to put you in your place. I'm like, lady, you are 40 years old. Calm the fuck down. Calm down. Like, I lost my train of thought. She said what she said to me. These are the two things that hurt me the most. And she played off of it after she said it. You found the courage to cross my boundary and say something to me. You better think. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what happened because you'll get a better understanding of where I'm coming from, I think. Maybe. So she says to me, slips and says, even the two people before this new person said you're paranoid. I said, oh, really? I didn't know either one of them had licenses in the psychological field, let alone you. She was using it to drive her point home, right? You can't do that to me because I will put you in your place. You don't have a license to A, diagnose me as being paranoid, and B, gossip about me. You gossiped about me to 2 other people? Oh, well, we didn't know. Sounds like it, because you just used it in a point to drive home as to how paranoid I am in the workplace. You used it to drive your point home, and none of you have a license in any licensure or anything in psychology. I have a minor's degree in psychology, and I don't do that shit to people. I have a degree in it, and I don't do that shit to people. But if you're going to use something based off of gossip, well, 2 other people said it, you used it incorrectly. You should have not have just told me your regional manager title was to gossip about me and tell me that there's 2 sides to every story, but you just never have time to hear mine. Oopsie. You kind of fucked up a little bit. I'm starting to get pain everywhere because I'm so tensed up and fired up over one bad dream. That was almost, 3 hours ago now? And there's this big rant and rave. And if you clicked on the video, I'm sorry. I'm extremely triggered. I'm not all that pretty when I wake up, obviously. If you're experiencing this, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's wretched, awful, and there's no reason why you should have to go through it by yourself. None whatsoever. And if you have a disability like me and you struggle in the workplace anyway, in your own skin, being in your own skin in the workplace with a disability is hard enough as it is. And now you have people's fucking trauma that you're trying to cope with that try to make you feel this big because this is how they feel, is awful. It's just awful. And you shouldn't have to go through it by yourself. You shouldn't have to. And I'm all about giving free advice, okay? But I don't want to give free advice to people who are like in one side, out in one ear and out the other. Just to say that they want the free advice. Okay, and I'm not saying that I won't help you or try to help you. I'm definitely going to try to help you. But if I knew without a shadow of a doubt, if I didn't record this video and upload it, somebody would repeat back to me my rant and rave as if it was their own words. And I went off on a 2-hour spiel, and this is only 40 minutes. And I haven't even touched the iceberg of all the stuff that I said. Now, maybe, just maybe, me recording this and going and uploading it, maybe, just maybe, people will be like, I need to not say anything. Because if I say something, she's going to tell the truth. And I'm going to start using names soon enough. Stop fucking with me. Stop it. I don't know who you will think you are, but you're done. It's over. And I will continue telling everybody the truth of the stuff that you do. Those are your issues. It is not my weight to bury. Yeah, it's not my weight to carry. Obviously, there's something to that. It needs to be buried once and for all. And I can't do it if I don't speak my truth. Now I've got a big, giant community of people that have been treating me very similar in very similar ways, using the same methods, the same exact verbatim verbiage. I know you're talking to each other. I'm not stupid. Okay? We're not all that psychically interlinked to be using the exact same verbiage. Exact verbatim verbiage to hurt somebody, to use their own disability against them. And I have a text from an assistant manager who was canned that said, I didn't even say the words. I didn't even say the words, but in the text, he said, they've been using your disability against you to get you fired. Duh. I already knew that, but they don't fucking cut my paycheck. They don't get that final say. They're just operators of a store. That's it. Okay, my kitty cats are coming to say hi to me. And I'm literally having spasms all over the place in my back and everything because I'm super tensed up. So I need to go relax, cleanse, refresh, take a shower. Unfortunately, the sun came out. I was kind of hoping to sit in the dark a little bit longer, but it didn't work that way. So anyway, my name is Stacy, and I encourage you to start taking action with channeled insight. And I also encourage you to speak truth and to tell your story. If people are treating you badly and harassing you, I don't know, maybe it'll work for you to go to HR. It hasn't worked for me yet, and I've tried and tried and tried and tried. I've only been laughed at, made to feel stupid and small, and people don't want to hear what I have to say. Okay, so I don't know if, I hate to say it, but I don't know if going to HR is the right choice. But find a way to get your truth out. Find a way to get your truth out. Okay? Just, you're not alone. I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. But the bullying and the harassment in the workplace because of insecure small people want to feel big, that has to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if you start talking. We have to talk. We cannot be silenced. I'm over 50 and I've been silenced for a long, long time. That's sad, isn't it? It's really, really sad. It feels sad. So I'm going to keep talking. You never know what you're going to get on my channel. But again, thank you very much, and take care. Be strong. Talk. Okay? Try not, just find your authenticity and don't allow yourself to be silenced by trauma.